As we think about the resurrection of Jesus, there were several people that had negative responses to it initially. They weren't throwing a party, no Cadbury eggs, no bunnies, no ham in the oven, none of that. Some people were cunning, others were compromising. There were those who were critical, and then we could also say there were those who were simply confused. Confused. It's been a few years, but I can remember my first days in middle school. What a confusing time that was for me. I was not a boy, I was not a man, I was this in-between hybrid creature known as a teen. And everything was different. We called it back then elementary school. And in elementary school, I had one teacher I had to get used to throughout the whole year, just like you did. But it was a whole new world when it came to middle school. And in middle school, not only did I not have just one teacher, but I had several teachers. I also was assigned this really tricky thing called a locker. Remember those things? Lockers? And these things would always trip me up, these lockers. I didn't want to lose a key, and so I'd have one of those combo lock pads. And I would always be so befuddled over the combination. I'd be turning it one way and then the other way, and I might miss it by just one little hairline fracture on the lock, and it just confused me like nothing could. And it was frustrating. I eventually, I think, figured it out after being late to several of my classes. But the locker was a challenging, confusing thing for me. Well, there were people who were not confused over lockers back at the time of the first resurrection, but they certainly were confused over this whole issue of whether or not Jesus really did rise from the dead. And so to that end, go ahead and look at John chapter 20 with me. John chapter 20. We're doing well. We're keeping the pace here going. I don't think I need to fear the wet noodle coming at me a little bit later. John chapter 20. We find a woman there who was just as confused over the resurrection of Jesus as I was over the combination of my locker. I'd like you to notice verse 11. I'll draw your attention to verses 11 through 15, where we learn about the experience of one of the Marys who was at Jesus' empty tomb. It says there that Mary was standing outside the tomb weeping, and so as she wept, she stooped and looked into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white sitting, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been lying. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing there, and once again, did not know. Twice, she doesn't know something. She doesn't know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Mary tried to make sense over where Jesus exactly was, where his body was placed, and as a result of that, she was confused. She was not knowing. Twice the passage tells us that she did not know. Even though there were two dazzling angels and Jesus himself was present, she doesn't get the point. She's clueless. She doesn't understand really what is going on here. Let me say to you this morning that if you're not sure about the resurrection of Jesus, you need to do what Mary needed to do. She needed to get the facts squared away in her mind. You need to get the facts squared away. You need to do a little bit of research. You need to perhaps take a little time and go through the scriptures. You will get man-made interpretations throughout history of how people maybe try to explain away the resurrection. But my encouragement to you is to get into the good book, which is a reputable, reliable source of authority, the scriptures themselves, and dig deep so that you can dispel the clouds of confusion and replace it with clarity.